Hey everybody, welcome to Brainwaves, the live edition. We wanted to talk about a few things, and we wanted to do something a little more personal than our usual just audio podcast. That being said, there will be an audio version of this, so if you can't watch a YouTube video wherever you are, then you can go check that out. We usually release those for our Discord folks, but we'll find a place to put that as well. Probably be in the description of this video, so go check that out. My name is Aaron. I also go by the name Good News. I am the producer on the team. I do the community stuff. I do business stuff. I do all kinds of things.
If you're on the Discord, you probably have spoken to Aaron.
Yes.
I'm Elliot. I'm the artist on the team. I do all the art direction and animation, character design. Most of this stuff visual other than UI. Yeah, that's me.
So like I said, usually this podcast is usually available to our donors. So we've had a campaign on our website for a while now where people can donate and they can get a bunch of stuff back for that.
Usually we have more team members.
We also usually have more
podcast.
Team members on here as well.
Today Mello is actually in Seattle, but he's away from his workstation, so he can't really be here.
Yes.
We're gonna meet him later tonight. We're gonna get some Caribbean food.
We will get some Caribbean food. I'm looking forward to that.
If you guys are ever in Seattle, check out Pam's Kitchen.
Shout out Pam's Kitchen.
Shout out to Pam's Kitchen. Sponsor us.
So yeah, this one we are making a few big announcements. So number one, there will be one towards the beginning of this, but there will also be one at the end. So make sure you stay until the end for that. But we had a few things we want to talk about, and we wanted to make this a little more public for everybody, so they know what's going on with us. We've kind of been like, I guess we've been kind of shadowy with everything we do. Like, we really only post on Twitter, and then we've done some SRK stuff, which we'll talk about in a bit. But
most of the big things that have been happening in the Cerebrawl team has to do with like business development and stuff like that, which would A, bore you to tears, and
sure,
B, not really something you want to make public unless you completely strike a deal. So we've been hush hush about all the workings behind the scenes, but I mean, I guess we're here to explain where we are, what our situation is.
We also usually have an FAQ. We didn't do that for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a donor, you can usually ask us questions. So first and foremost, what we want to talk about is we have always been very adamant about taking this game and seeking a publisher rather than doing any sort of crowdfunding. And while we have kind of done some pseudo crowdfunding on our own website, so far what it's paid for is if we have show costs, it'll take care of that. Travel costs, what else? Our normal burn rate stuff. We have, we use Jira for all of our task tracking, our web hosting, stuff like that.
Let me cut to the chase. The big line item that we're going to be talking about today is we're announcing that we're going to be running a Kickstarter campaign.
Yes.
So, just so there's no vagary about that, that's pretty much what this video is going to be about today. We do this with a bit of hesitation, mostly because for the past 3 years that we've been working on the game, we've been trying to avoid going through crowdfunding, but quite frankly, our options are limited at this point.
Yeah, so we've talked to several publishers over the last, maybe 2 years now.
First person got in touch with us, the first publisher that we talked to was about
probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
Year and a half ago, I would say, yeah.
And that didn't really work out. It just, publishers are kind of it's like starting a new relationship. Everything has to be really in line with that publisher for it to work out.
First thing, you got to swipe right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
After you swipe right, then there's all this other shit.
It's
other stuff that we have to get through.
Publisher Tinder. So yeah, we had one publisher approach us, and then it kind of started moving from there. We got more interest, and there are even some publishers that we approached, which is very different from when a publisher approaches you. But there are some that we've approached, and it's just so far either the timing hasn't been right, or they haven't been able to offer what we need, or just even down to like the vibe wasn't right. Maybe the marketing wouldn't be right because their ideas of marketing would be different from our ideas of marketing, or however that goes.
Also, some of them didn't work out because of their marketing reach. Some publishers have more of an exclusive relationship with American audiences. We believe that our game would do well overseas, probably in the East Asian market. And there was no one publisher that really had all the things that we need in one place. So yeah, which leads us to a Kickstarter.
Yes. So Kickstarter is kind of I don't want to say our last ditch effort, but it's one of our options, and we're going to explore it. The way that our campaign has run so far, there are a lot of people who haven't even seen that you can go and you can actually buy into our prototype right now and all this stuff. And there are people who are asking when we're going to do a Kickstarter. We've even had several of the publishers that we talked to say, hey, if you ran a Kickstarter, like, you'll get more eyes on your game. It'll just be, there's all kinds of benefits to it that we didn't, I guess, think of from the beginning. Especially since Kickstarter is a sticky situation in general with accountability.
It's also a huge added workload.
Yeah.
Mostly because we have to fulfill all the rewards that we promise, which is like, what is it? We have to deliver on the product that we promise on, but there's going to be an additional workload for having to fill all our rewards.
Right. So we're trying to come up with like the best possible rewards we can come up with for you guys. The asking price so far is undetermined. We have a ballpark idea of what that's going to be.
The balancing act that we're trying to play right now is we have to balance how much we think is a viable amount to ask for, while balancing that with, well, what can we actually deliver with that? Just know, like, okay, so people who are familiar with Cerebrawl and what we've been planning on doing, just know that we're probably, actually, I'm 100% certain that we're gonna have to downscale to meet a price point that is a viable amount of money to ask for. While we're on the subject of money, should we talk about why we need money?
Yeah, I mean, we can break it down right now. So the biggest cost for us, as everybody knows, we have a 2D fighting game, and because of that, it requires a great deal of art support. And people cost money. That's just how it is. People need to get paid, and we gotta pay those people. And if for any business, the cost of labor is your 100% highest cost. That's what costs you the most amount of money, is your cost of labor. And so that's our balancing act right now, is figuring out how much time, how we can afford these people over that amount of time. If we need to do any outsourcing for that stuff, which you could talk about more. And then, gosh.
A big part of it is to speed up the development process of Cerebrawl, mostly because, I mean, we've been running close to no funding for about 3 years at this point, and, we kind of looked at the schedule, and it's almost kind of become a joke at this point. But
Right.
if with the current team size that we have now, Cerebrawl will be coming out in 2028 or something.
2025, yeah.
2025, and I know for a fact that that's not something we can do. Mostly because I don't have the funds to live until 2025 without funding.
Yeah, I mean, none of us on the team do. One or two of us have full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm. Which necessarily takes away from time that you could spend on the game.
Right, exactly. So that's the balancing act, is how much time we can spend on the game versus having money at all. And we, this isn't new for an indie team. Like, there are plenty of indie teams out there who have to work side jobs, or they do contract work. They make games on the side for other companies and then make their own game from the funds that they receive from that. And we've done contract work along this whole time, but it's not keeping up with our needs, our costs.
Not only that, when we do contract work, it slows down production on Cerebrawl even more.
Right.
That's the tough part. I mean, I probably work like 12 to 16 hours every day, and it's been that way for about probably 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can't keep doing that. And the reason I work that much is because I'm probably spending about 8 to 10 hours just trying to get freelance work or commissions done, and then whatever time I have left in the day, I'm trying to work on Cerebrawl. But I mean, there's only so much progress you can make when you work like anywhere between 2 to 4 hours a day on any given project.
Yeah.
And like I think about working at this pace until 2025, and I'm like, I'm only human. I can't do that.
Yeah, we have lives and we have to live them.
Yeah.
But we're doing the best we can. We're trying to get as much done as we can. We our donors who have been watching our progress from 0.1.0 all the way up to now, which is 0.6.9, I believe.
0.1.0 came out like 2 years ago?
That came out 2 years ago. So there are people in our community that have been with us for 2 years, and before that actually. So about 2.5 years, because we started doing Twitch streams 6 months into working on the game. Mm-hmm. And so we have people who have been with us for a super long time.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Thank you to you guys. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah. So that being said, one thing I want to go over before we get to our current donors is the positives of a Kickstarter. So number one, we have several characters, 3 characters, we should say specifically.
Three that are locked down. Production on them has already begun.
Yes.
So we can't. Those 3 we can't change.
Yes. One of the slots we have decided to give over to a character vote. That character vote will be determined by the Kickstarter. So there will be 3 levels. Probably the 3 levels of just like the basic buying the game. So if you want to buy the game at its cheaper price before it comes out, each one of those levels will have a character tied to it, so you can put in your vote that way. We haven't announced those characters yet. We're still figuring them out. I think one of them is probably one that the community really wanted.
Oh boy. Yeah. I have a list. Of because I'm working on this illustration, like one of those Street Fighter-esque posters, character explosion posters. So I wrote down all the characters. I think I have a list of 15 characters altogether that I have in mind for Cerebrawl. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably release that list. Basically, the way that this is going to work is that we're gonna have our minimum goal for Cerebrawl, and then we're gonna have a bunch of stretch goals, including like more characters.
Mhm.
And as more characters open up, we're gonna go into the donator list, because we're gonna have different places you can donate for whichever character that you want. And so currently we have 3 characters. We have Susan, Operator 28, and Helen. So slot number 4, and whatever slots open up, depending on our stretch goal situation, we're gonna pick the donation votes, like highest, and then just go down through the list.
Yeah.
So if there's a character that you want in the game, if you've been to the stream, I'm really bad at keeping secrets. So I'm sure you guys have accidentally seen the, character portrait folder that I keep that has like, all the character concept art and stuff like that. So a lot of you probably have an idea of what characters I want to put in the game. And again, I'm bad at keeping secrets. So like on the stream, I'll always be like, oh, I really want to put this character in the game and stuff like that. So it's not going to be too hard to guess. Some of them are going to be hard to guess.
Yeah.
Because some of them I just designed for the game, but a lot of them are just in a backlog of characters that I've wanted to put in a video game anyway.
Yeah, for sure. The other stuff like reward stuff, people absolutely love mellow soundtrack, so we will be, of course, doing a physical release of that. Probably, maybe we'll do like some songs specifically that for backers. We haven't decided how that physical release is going to go. I think we'll figure out where the demand is, because it could be on a cassette tape, it could be on vinyl, it could be on just a CD. We haven't figured that out yet. That being said, there are guest artists that we want on the soundtrack as well that we're going to be talking to. Won't mention who that is yet, but that will be coming. What else? Physical stuff. We'll probably do lapel pins, and we'll definitely be doing shirts or something like that. Merch. Lots of merch.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving on to the donors, because we have, I think we're sitting at about 350 donors so far, maybe 350 to 400 donors so far. And so what we've decided is, as of this video coming out, the donation page will be closed. The reason for that being, there's no point in having you guys go to donate to that page when you can come to the Kickstarter page when it goes live and donate there. So
the donation page will most likely just redirect you to the Kickstarter page.
Most likely, yeah. So if you're thinking about donating, we really appreciate it, but hold on to that and then go to our Kickstarter and pledge to that instead.
Hold on to that goodwill.
Hold on to it. For our current donors, the builds for this month there'll probably be one more build for this month that has some loose Susan stuff in it. So that's a cool thing that you guys get to see before everyone else. After that, we're going to be spending pretty much this entire month working on the Kickstarter, because Kickstarters are an insane amount of work.
Yeah.
So Elliot is pivoting into doing art stuff for the Kickstarter. I am doing the Kickstarter campaign and the page and all of that stuff. And then what else? What else do we have going on for that? I think everyone else is continuing to just work on what they're working on. Again, we're coming back to this, like, people have to make money. So some of us are taking this time off to like make rent. So development's going to be a little bit slow, and for that we apologize, but it'll ramp back up post Kickstarter, and we'll figure it out as we go along. So the other thing is, for you donors out there, who have been playing the game for a while, you guys have been getting updates every 2 weeks. We're kind of in an odd situation where if we do a Kickstarter, it's almost expected at this point that we would put out a public demo. So we're trying to figure out how to make that fair so that you guys still get some exclusivity based on what you've already put in, but so that other people can also try the game. The idea right now is maybe just put out a test build that only has Helen in it.
4 Helens.
Just play with 4 Helens. And then the Tack Knight and Susan are still exclusive to you guys. You guys are going to see the updates before anyone else.
Correct.
So we shall see how that goes. That also, again, requires some of our time to make a specific build so that it's only locked down to Helen. So yeah, we'll figure that out, and you guys will get more updates as this stuff moves along. But that's the idea so far. Let's see. Last but not least, not last. This is the second to last thing. So we've had a lot of stuff going on, and mainly we focus on the development. We just want to get the game out, get more features in. Everything else has kind of like fallen by the wayside. So what we want to do is bring back a steady, not even bring back, really start a steady dev blog. Pardon me. And those will go along with releases. So when I write up the patch notes, I'll be writing up a dev blog along with that. You can find those on our website. I'll also be mirroring those posts on SRK. So you can go and check those out there. Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, I guess one thing to say about this dev blog is, so I think we all enjoy having a very open... like the production of Cerebrawl and the stuff that happens. It's fun to stay open, but there is also a part of being open is work.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
For example, like while we're writing these dev blogs and stuff like that, it's gonna again take away from production time.
Yeah. Right now, my when I put out a build, it takes me about 2 to 3 hours. The reason for that being is I need to upload it in 6 different places. So it goes to itch.io, it goes to Gumroad 2 times. It goes to Amazon twice. So I guess 5 times. I upload it 5 times. And that takes a really long amount of time. And then writing up the patch notes takes another amount of time. Emailing everyone and then going and putting the patch notes on Discord takes time. So, but it's worth it adding on probably another hour, 2 hours to write a post about it if that brings you guys more insight into what we're doing and how we go about what we do and why we make the decisions that we make, rather than just handing you patch notes and saying, hey, this is what changed. And then you guys just kind of have to infer like what we did by those really simple patch notes.
One thing, since the last thing we spoke about was feedback, this would be a great time for you guys to give us feedback. What would you like to see in a dev blog?
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
I have a vague idea of what I think a dev blog should be, and Aaron probably has a much better idea about what a dev blog should be, but this is one of those things where we're curious what you want to see, like what you guys would want to see us write there. Yeah. And
it can be really about anything. It doesn't have to be about just like what we changed in the game. If there's something that you want to know about the games industry, or you want to know about our processes, or like how Elliot draws a thing, or whatever you want to know, we can answer that, and we can go a little bit beyond like the FAQ section in our usual podcast, where you don't get that, like you don't get a visual feedback from that. So we can actually give you examples of things that we're doing.
Yes, sir.
All right. Last thing.
Last but not least.
This is, we'll leave it off on a fun, positive note. So we're going to be doing a stick giveaway. We're going to be getting a stick. We're going to be putting custom Cerebrawl art on it. We might be doing custom plexi etching on it. and we'll be giving it away. So keep an eye out for that. Discord folks will probably see it first, and then it'll show up on our Twitter and in other places.
This is going to be similar to our Thunderclap campaign, but much more incentivized, correct?
Correct, yeah. So
yeah, could you go into more about like why we're doing this?
Yeah, so we want to essentially like ramp up our audience for the Kickstarter, and we'll probably actually do a Thunderclap as well alongside this, but so we're going to be using Gleam.io, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have run into before, and for each follow that we get on Twitch or Facebook or Twitter or wherever, you get more tickets into the giveaway. So that'll probably go up on our website, and yeah, check it out.
Not this time, but next time we do another stick giveaway, I'm going to try to make that jerry can arcade stick.
God damn it.
It's going to be sick. I know it's a good idea.
It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
It's going to be a fucking collector's item, I know it.
Yeah.
It's going to be sick.
One thing that I just remembered that I want to end this off with, and I just want to talk about real quick. Our donors, we have no expectations of our current donors having to go back to Kickstarter and donate more. There was actually a time when I had pitched maybe we do Patreon for this, and the feedback was not good. The feedback was very negative. And I totally respect that. I get it. But there's no expectation that like any of you guys who are out there who have already donated to our game that you're going to go and also pledge to our Kickstarter. We certainly appreciate it, but we're not asking for that. We're asking for, if anything, like if you donate to this game and you like it and you think you see where the progress is going and you want to see more of it, then tell people. Like that's the most important thing you can do for us right now.
Spread the word.
Is just tell people. We'd really appreciate that. The goal, or sorry, not the goals, but the rewards, I'll probably try to find a way to put those up separately so that people who have already donated or people who just want to buy into those rewards can get them. I might just make it public for the Discord only. We'll see, but I want to make sure that you guys can get on board with that as well. So if we, especially for like the physical soundtrack release, we want you guys to be able to get that. Anyone who's donated so far on the 2 levels, you already get a copy of the game. But in case we do like a physical copy of the game, we'll find a way that you can up your donation so that you can get that. We'll figure it out. We are going to make sure that you guys are taken care of, because you have taken care of us for 2.5 years. So we appreciate that.
To loop it back around to this stick giveaway thing, yeah, we're trying to do. We're going to be trying to make a big social media push in the near future, which has been weird, quite frankly, the whole social media thing. Because on Twitter, what do we have, like 1,600?
I think we're almost at 1,800.
1,800? Okay. I haven't checked it in a while. Which is actually pretty low.
Yeah.
Honestly. But, like, the weird thing about Cerebrawl is I hear from the most random people that they know about my project. The most random people. Like, I go to a drink and draw on Thursdays for a couple hours, and my friend who doesn't work in games, never worked in games, he I think he works at like actually technically it is games, because I think he works at a slot machine company.
Oh, sure.
But he said like, oh yeah, my boss knows all about your project. And I'm like, what? How? Why would he know about that? It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, we run into people in the FGC all the time who don't necessarily follow us, but still like know of the game or have run into it at some point. But we want to make sure that we have people like get a following so that when we say something about the game, you can continue to be informed about it. That's definitely one of the things that I get from our contact form a lot, is like, hey, does this game still exist? Are you guys still doing this thing?
Yeah, that's
So.
probably because in the past couple months, like, we've been concentrating on biz dev type stuff, so production kind of slowed down. So that's kind of our fault. But yeah, it's like what is it? This might be all in my mind, but I just feel like there's some kind of weird audience out there that we cannot somehow track.
Sure. So we want to track that down and make sure that those people know what's up.
Bring them into the fold.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and I don't want you guys to make really mean posts, but send us the meanest post about Cerebrawl that you found on a forum, because
we're collecting them.
We're collecting them. We have a small little folder of the meanest things people have said about Cerebrawl. We're gonna put them on the box. If there's ever a box release, we want to get the two olive branches with like little awards. Except they're gonna be just mean comments.
Yeah,
that's gonna be so. Send them over to us.
Send them our way. That doesn't mean make more. We're not.
Don't make the post.
We're trying to incentivize you making
mean posts. Yeah, we're not trying to pull some Primus shit here.
Yeah, Cerebrawl sucks.
But yeah, send us that and spread the word.
Yeah, just tell people. That's the most important thing right now. Is like, just tell people what we're doing and that we're a thing and we're working as hard as we can to make this game. So, yeah.
Yeah, tell all your animator friends. We're making 2D. We're bringing 2D back.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think that'll do it.
That's good.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking a look at this. If you are new to this whole thing, if you're just seeing this through like a friend or something, check out the description to find links for like where to follow us. We have a public channel on our Discord. Most of it's locked down to our donors, but we have a public channel on our Discord, so you can come in there and you can ask us more questions or harass us or whatever you're going to do. I think that's it.
Just be cool.
Just be cool. See you guys later.
Goodbye.